And joining us today in our Book Talk segment, great to welcome a woman who's written a book that I think is going to help a lot of people, particularly parents of young kids in school. It's called Bounce. Help your child build resilience and thrive in school, sports, and life. We're joined today by Dr. Kate Lund, and she's based out in the beautiful part of the country, the Pacific Northwest, Seattle, Washington, and she joined us by telephone today. And Kate, good to talk with you. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, good to have a chance to chat with you. I wanted to talk to you about this. Kind of always been interested in the topic you write about in the book, because I think a lot of kids, I guess every kid goes through it at some point of their young school life. You find setbacks in the classroom and outside the classroom. So this is kind of an important topic, isn't it?
Absolutely, it sure is. And there's certainly things that we can do to help kids to move through and beyond their challenges.
I know you talk a bit in the book about your own personal situation, having overcome a certain thing, a health issue, obviously. So you kind of talk from personal experience as well.
I do, yeah. I felt like that was a very important piece to include in the book from an authenticity standpoint. And when I was young, I had a condition called hydrocephalus, which is essentially when the spinal fluid doesn't circulate properly through the brain, and it, caused a lot of time away from school, a lot of time in the hospital to get the situation corrected over time, and, also social challenges and some academic challenges and that sort of thing. I was very lucky to have a strong support system on my side to help me really see me for who I was as opposed to for the challenges that I had. And that really helped me sort of build the foundation of becoming resilient and the ability to move through and beyond those challenges.
I should mention Dr. Lund is also a licensed clinical psychologist, also a performance coach, so that's kind of her professional background, but kind of specializing in this particular area. And you bring up a good point about a lot of children, like you said, went through some illness. I didn't go through quite like that. I missed a lot of school early in my kindergarten, first, second grade years from allergies. They weren't quite sure what it was, but when you miss that much like you did, it really kind of sets you back a little bit, not only from your schoolwork perspective, but just kind of, acclimating yourself to other people, right? Socializing. It makes it harder.
Exactly. It certainly does. And it really, when these social challenges emerge or academic challenges, whatever form they might come in, and certainly the illness doesn't have to be as serious as, the one I experienced. It can be, something like you mentioned, allergies. It can be really any challenge that sets a child apart in a sense or causes them to miss time in school, get off track with their peers, that sort of thing, be seen as different, really. And that's when we really have to come in and help the child to build this foundation, in resilience, help them to become resilient so that they can really get in touch with their strengths, move beyond their challenges, and flourish, really.
And in so many kids, unfortunately, the parent situation may not be the greatest, family situation, broken homes, whatever. So you're not only dealing with what's happening in school, but what's happening at home. So that adds to the problem, doesn't it?
Absolutely, it sure does. And as you mentioned, and we're seeing here, challenge comes in such a wide range of forms. And, kids today are faced with so many different challenges from so many different angles. And, right, it can be something on the home front. It can be something medical. It can be a learning difference. It can be just as simple as being different socially in some way. Anything that really sets that child apart and causes them to be seen as different or causes them to feel different are the things that we're talking about here. And really so many of them are coming at our children these days.
Well, let's talk about, in the book, you break it down into 7 different pillars is what you call them. So we don't have time to go through all of them, but maybe 1 or 2 that you find or think are most important.
Sure. Well, so, what we can really do from the get-go is to help kids to tolerate their frustrations and manage their emotions. It's a great start. You can do this through teaching them a wide range of mindfulness techniques to really help them develop this sense of self-awareness when it comes to emotion, when it comes to frustration, the ability to self-regulate around those things. Because when emotions become too strong or a child becomes too frustrated, the tendency is to shut down. So helping them through that is a really great place to start. And the other big thing we can do is to really help kids to navigate friendships and social pressures. And by that I mean we can help them to really develop a strong social-emotional foundation, to understand and appreciate differences among their peers and within themselves, as a way of, cutting down on the ridicule of others, as a way of helping them to believe more strongly in themselves. And doing this really helps to set the foundation for resilience in these children. So really, really important. Those, I would say, are, the top two pillars, very, very important. And then we go on and we talk about others in the book as well. Developing courage, for example, is a big one. And there are others, but those are the top ones that I would say would really get the child off to a good start.
You talk about social pressures, and now with small children, I'm talking 6, 7 years old. I think they're already getting their cell phones. I guess their parents give them one just to have a way to contact them at school. But on those cell phones, you got all the social media and all. That's a whole new avenue of social pressure that my generation didn't have, and I'm sure yours didn't either. So that really adds a lot to it.
Right, it sure does, and it really adds to the ways in which bullying, for one, can occur. Because, in the old days, perhaps it was just happening in the classroom or on the playground,
right.
And then the child could get some respite when they went home. But not so anymore with the advent of social media. The bullying then can have the potential to follow the child everywhere. Makes it that much more difficult.
Yeah, scary situation. And you mentioned the other pillars. I think confidence in any part of your life is important, but particularly when you're in school, it's hard to have confidence sometimes. Maybe you're not as good at one subject as somebody else, and you really got to develop, like you said, your ability to overcome that. But that's tough, isn't it?
It is. That is very difficult for all kids, really, because, we're not all good at the same things, and we're not going to be good necessarily across the board. So we're going to have our strengths, and we're going to have our challenges. And so helping kids to understand that that's okay, and also helping to give them opportunities for successes so that they can build on the areas where their aptitudes are, their passions are, and this really helps them to move forward and develop confidence in specific areas, areas where they're passionate, areas in which they have strong aptitudes.
Are you optimistic, Doctor, about the way the schooling system is as far as kind of implementing this? Do you find, I know you hear a lot of terrible stories about the school system, particularly public schools in certain cities. A lot of parents are putting their kids in private schools or maybe charter schools. How do you see that whole situation?
Well, it's tough. And the resources, it's true, in certain schools and certain school systems really aren't there to implement programs such as building a strong social-emotional foundation, that sort of thing, anti-bullying, that sort of thing. But I think a lot of schools really try to put these things in place and are doing a great job. And for those that aren't able, I think it's really, really an important thing, particularly on the social-emotional foundation front, to get these programs in place to really help children to develop this strong sense of social-emotional understanding and awareness as a way of appreciating difference and really accepting their peers for who they are, as opposed to ridiculing them and putting them down for who they're not. So I think a lot of schools, they're trying, and it's an area that we need to push.
Yep, constant struggle. But the name of the book is Bounce, and again, I think it's going to does give a lot of great information how parents can help. It's called Help Your Child Build Resilience and Thrive in School, Sports, and Life. We've been talking with Dr. Kate Lund. And Doctor, you have a website you want to direct people to? People can get more information about the book?
Sure. My website is Puget Sound SportsPsychology.com. and there's a page on the website specific to the book which provides more information.
Great. Doctor, pleasure talking to you. We'll put a link as well on our website to be able to, people can get the book as well. But appreciate you taking the time, and please keep in touch through Elise. I know she was the one that provided your information, and hopefully we can talk to you again.
Wonderful. Sounds good. Thanks so much for having me.
Great. Thank you.
I'm Stan Brock. 30 years ago, I formed Remote Area Medical to help people overseas. But then we found generations of families in America isolated by poverty from the health care they need. Together, we can take dental, vision, and medical help to 1 million adults and their kids, right here at home in the United States of America.
If you'd like to order the book we're talking about, please go to DougMilesMedia.com and enter the author's name in the Amazon search box. Thank you for listening. Please come back soon for more conversations here at DougMilesMedia.com. This has been a presentation of Doug Miles Media, all rights reserved. You can listen to or download previous programs at iTunes, Stitcher.com, or DougMilesMedia.com.